If you've watched any of Jada Pinkett Smith's interviews lately, it seems like she is trying her best to embarrass Will. So today on InformOverload, we're counting down the top 10 times that Will Smith should have filed for divorce from Jada. Number 10, exposing their fake marriage. Jada has now revealed the truth about why her relationship with Will Smith is not at all what people expected. According to Jada, her and Will have been separated and have lived completely separate lives since 2016, nearly 20 years after they married in 1997. In this shocking new interview, she details more about their relationship, both how it started and where it stands now, which she also talks about in her memoir called Worthy. While the two of them are still technically legally married, Jada explained why her and Will are no longer romantically together, even though they never got divorced on paper. When she was asked about why she has never shared their relationship status before, she said it came down to just not being ready yet and still trying to figure out between the two of them how to be in a partnership. So they had not figured out how to present that to people. And when asked about what led to their relationship fracture, Jada said there was a lot of reasons. Quote, "By the time we got to 2016, we were just exhausted with trying. I think we were both kind of still stuck in our fantasy of what we thought the other person should be." Jada says that she has considered a legal divorce before, but said that she's never actually been able to go through with it. Number 9, complaining about their love life. While on the Red Table Talk, some very questionable things came out that exposed the nature of Will and Jada's relationship. Basically, Will implied that the couple's decision to open up their marriage was Jada's idea, because apparently she told him that she never believed in conventional marriage and that they needed to figure out how to make themselves happy individually. So it was almost like she told him that happiness can be found with other people. But Jada's affair with August starts to make a bit more sense when she was openly speaking about her disappointing sex life with Will. While she was talking with Gwyneth Paltrow, Jada outright said that keeping the spark alive in their marriage is hard, implying that although they've been married for almost 25 years, Will still doesn't know exactly what she wants in the bedroom. Quote, "Because I think you expect your partner to know what you need, especially when it comes to sex. It's like, well, if you love me, you should know. You should read my mind. That's a huge pitfall." Now, it must have been a little embarrassing for Will when Jada insinuated that he wasn't meeting her needs, but now it's obvious that she was the one who was pushing for an open relationship this whole time. Number 8, obsession with Tupac. For a while now, Jada has been criticized by fans for her obsession with the late rapper Tupac Shakur, and so far she seems to have no plans of stopping, even though it probably embarrasses Will. So just last month, she posted a throwback video of herself and Tupac on Instagram, and they were dancing along and lip-syncing to the Fresh Prince's 1988 hit song, "Parents Just Don't Understand." In the caption, she wrote, "Here is part of the original video of Pac and I doing a terrible job at lip-syncing Parents Just Don't Understand." In a 2018 episode of Red Table Talk, Jada then opened up to her daughter and her mother about her relationship with him. She claimed that they shared an instant connection upon meeting and became pretty much inseparable. She said that over the years he wrote her many letters and many poems, and she even read a private one on the show that he sent her, which she claims has not yet been published. While Jada does get some criticism for how much she reveals about their relationship, it is fair to say that his death had a major impact on her. She said it was a huge loss in her life because he was one of those people that she expected just to be there. Quote, "My upset is more anger because I feel that he left me." Number 7, caught lying in her memoir. So Jada recently opened up about her relationship with Tupac, where she claimed that he proposed to her in prison during his stay at Rikers Island. She claimed that it was one of the most painful parts of the memoir writing process. But not everyone was buying her story. In fact, a TikTok user challenged Jada's account with a meticulous timeline that cast doubt on her story. She questioned the authenticity of the narrative about her relationship with Tupac and highlighted a pivotal point during the time Jada claims that he proposed to her when he was already engaged to Keisha Morris. The video questions Jada's consistency when placed against the historical timeline, suggesting that her statements may lack accuracy or cohesion. At the time, Jada was transitioning into a relationship with Will Smith, who had recently separated from his wife. So the situation raises a question of when the alleged visit to Rikers Island and the marriage proposal transpired. After Tupac's release from prison, he got engaged to a woman called Jada Jones, who is the daughter of music legend Quincy Jones. Jada had been with him until his death 8 months later. So the timeline here just didn't really make a lot of sense, and you can see why people had been poking holes in Jada's story. Number 6, dissing their wedding. On an episode of the Red Table Talk that featured Jada, Will, her mother Adrienne, and their youngest daughter Willow, Jada thought, hey, it's a great time to talk about their disastrous wedding. She admitted that she didn't even want to get married and that she felt like she was actually pressured into it. Her mother's reaction to the pregnancy was just to start planning the wedding, because not getting married was not an option for their family. At the same time, Jada was still young and trying to make it as an actress in a competitive and complicated industry, so things were pretty rough for her back then. Marriage was understandably the furthest thing from her mind. Adrienne then brought up how the wedding was pretty much a disaster disaster. She said that Jada was sick, unpleasant, and uncooperative the day of the wedding. But you also have to remember that she was gearing up for the biggest moment of her life that she didn't even want in the first place. She was 3 months pregnant too, so being sick was probably an understatement. Jada recalled how she was super angry that day and even cried as she was walking down the aisle, while the whole time Will was trying to keep up appearances that things were cool between them. Number 5, admitted to an affair. So by now we all know of Jada's affair with August as Lena, but it was a secret that she never wanted exposed and something that she tried to deny up until the very last minute. And this is how it all went down. While promoting his 3rd album, August sat down with the Breakfast Club and claimed that the Smiths, who he considered to be like his family, actually had an open marriage, and Will allegedly gave the singer permission to date Jada. Quote, "I actually sat down with Will and had a conversation. He gave me his blessing." He also admitted that they deeply loved each other, but that he felt like not talking about their relationship was affecting him professionally and personally, because it was a secret that was weighing him down. This was explosive when it first came out, and it's clear that Jada would have prevented this if she could. Almost immediately, her publicist came out with statements denying any romantic involvement whatsoever, and stating that the claims were absolutely not true. But it was already far too late to backtrack, and the couple finally decided to air their dirty laundry on the Red Table Talk about a week later in that infamous episode. Number 4, parenting issues. This incident was not widely known at all because it happened back in 2015 when Willow was barely a teen. Jada admitted on the Red Table Talk in 2019 that she was furious after Child Protective Services showed up to the family home to investigate whether or not her daughter Willow was being starved. It all happened when 14-year-old Willow was photographed while lying in bed next to a shirtless family friend, Moses Arias, who was around 20 at the time. While she insisted that the photo was innocent, it was definitely extremely controversial at the time. Although CBS also thought so too, and they decided to intervene after they received a complaint accusing the Smiths of starving Willow. When they recalled the incident, Jada admitted that it was the first time she got really furious. Quote, "I was looking at the lady the whole time and I was thinking, you could be helping so many kids right now, and you're wasting your time with a child who has everything that they need." According to the actress, both Willow and Jaden exhibited passive behavior throughout the visit from CPS. She said it was like their own personal protest to being investigated by the agency. Number 3, she said she never wanted to marry Will. In December of 1997, Will and Jada got married. A year later, Jaden, their first child, was born, and not long after that, in the year 2000, they became the parents of a girl that they later named Willow. Although her marriage so far has already surpassed 2 decades, which is actually a really long time, when you take a look at other Hollywood couples, there were many secrets about their real feelings towards each other that were kept hidden from the public eye. For one thing, Jada eventually confessed that no, she didn't actually want to marry Will in the first place. So it all happened because she was 3 months pregnant at the time and felt that she was pressured by her family to say "I do." Quote, "I was so angry because they forced me to get married. So angry I walked all the damn aisle to the altar crying." And even on their wedding day, there were a few warning signs, like the fact that Jada got cold feet and she said that she actually did not want to go through with it. There was also a time when their marriage hit rock bottom, and it happened when Will realized that his wife had cried for 45 days straight over their troubled marriage. Quote, "She would wake up and she would start crying. She did it for 45 consecutive days. I know this because I wrote it down in a diary." In his memoir, he also said that this was a time that he felt the worst in their marriage. It was very difficult for him because he had been trying to paint the picture that they have this perfect family, but it was only putting even more stress on the couple. Number 2, public beef with Chris Rock. Viewers of the 2022 Oscars were left completely shocked when Will infamously walked up on stage and slapped comedian Chris Rock across the face, all for making jokes about Jada Pinkett Smith. But what most people don't actually know is that the beef between the Smiths and Chris Rock actually goes back several years, so the tension has always been there. Chris once took aim at Jada while he was hosting the 2016 Oscars, all because the couple had very publicly decided to boycott the event. At the time, their protest was due to the fact that no actors of color were nominated for the 2nd year in a row. Chris said, quote, "Jada boycotting the Oscars is like me boycotting Rihanna's panties. I wasn't invited." He actually said this during the opening monologue, and it really seemed to sting the actress. The comedian also then took a dig at Will that very same time. He spoke about his performance in the movie Concussion and basically roasted it. He said that it's not fair Will was this good and didn't get nominated. Then he added that it's not fair that Will was paid $20 million for the movie Wild Wild West, which was such a burn that the couple were clearly not able to shake off the embarrassment. And coming in at number 1, getting roasted at the Oscars. Will and Jada's Oscar boycott remained a topic of conversation up to and including the night of the 2016 Academy Awards. As we know, that year's host Chris Rock targeted the couple with a few funny jabs about their decision not to attend the event, but he did still support the important movement for for representation at the Oscars. He seemed to agree with the Smiths' complaints that the nominations just weren't diverse enough and called the Academy Awards the White People's Choice Awards, which was absolutely hilarious. But then, as we know, seemingly out of nowhere, he turned his attention to Jada and started roasting her on stage. He said, "Isn't she on a TV show?" And since the Oscars don't give awards for television, then came the punchline. Well, what do you think about this video? Please let me know in the comments below. If you like it, please be sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.